Hi, I'm Haley Stozel, Resilience Program Director for Turning Point. We're going to continue this resilience practice series with a topic that's related to finding more meaning in our everyday lives. So we're just going to cover a few key ideas. And like always, we encourage you to take those ideas and adapt them and see what strategies might work best for you. In fact, this might be a video where it would be helpful to have either a piece of paper and a pencil or a new Word document open on your laptop so that you could capture some of your thoughts and ideas as we go along. You'll notice it's another core resilience facet from Turning Point's 10 Facets of Resilience model. And we've been using content from this model throughout the series and will continue to do so. Sense of coherence is the belief system that life is meaningful and worth the struggle. It also includes the belief that there are resources, routines, and rituals that can help us handle the more chaotic and unpredictable parts of life. It's really easy to get lost in the never-ending to-do list and kind of judge our day-to-day meaning by what we get done, but that can feel really repetitive. And so, of course, we occasionally lose that attachment to the impact or the meaning behind the work. And if this resonates with you too, it doesn't mean you or I are bad at resilience or that we don't have meaning in our lives. It just means that it's normal for us to go through time periods where we might lose that deeper connection to what gives us meaning in the work that we do or the time that we spend doing everyday tasks. This probably still feels like a pretty abstract resiliency concept. So let's talk about a few of the key takeaways for sense of coherence so we can get a better idea of how we might practice it. The first key takeaway is that to have a stronger sense of coherence, we have to find meaning in our everyday life. A second key takeaway is that there are resources and support systems that help life feel more manageable and help us manage those ups and downs of life. And then a third key takeaway for sense of coherence is that when life feels extra chaotic or overwhelming, it can help us if we try to seek consistent experiences and rely on things like our values or specific routines or rituals to help us kind of make more sense of the world. So if you want to try and kind of apply or self-assess your sense of coherence, here are some helpful questions to pause and ask yourself. If you have time right now, you might even pause the video and take an opportunity to reflect on one or possibly a couple of these questions that you see here on this slide. The first one is, what is something small that you've done recently that really mattered to you? It was meaningful or had an impact on you or other people. Another question to reflect on is, which core values do you tend to live by? And you can think of this as, are there values that help guide you in your decision making or might help serve as a compass during difficult situations? And lastly, you might reflect on any rituals or routines or things that you do to kind of help stabilize yourself and, orient yourself on days or weeks that feel extra chaotic or overwhelming. And now we're going to walk through a specific skill set that helps us calm chaotic feelings. So this might be a practice that you could eventually integrate as a routine for yourself. And we call it holding two different thoughts at once, or it might be easier to remember it as asking yourself, what else is true? I like to use this practice when I find myself getting stuck in a particular thought or emotion or some sort of spiral of feeling really down. Sometimes that's really disorienting, right? It's good to allow ourselves space to feel what we're feeling. But when we start to feel stuck by that and disoriented by that, we need tools that can help us regulate. And so you can remember that this practice is not trying to dismiss our feelings or invalidate how we feel. It's just a tool to live alongside some of those overwhelming thoughts and feelings and help get us unstuck. So as I said, this practice is called holding two different thoughts at once, or if it's easier for you to remember, just remember it as what else is true. Looking at the examples here, we would first notice the thought that, I feel exhausted. I do not know how much longer I can do this. And asking ourselves what else is true, we might think, I have a great support system. It's okay to ask for help, and it doesn't mean I'm weak or less than. Another example, I notice the thought that I'm anxious about what life will look like in the future. And so what else is true? I'm doing okay in this moment, and I do have people in my life and resources I can turn to if things get worse. So this is a practice that takes some work. It takes some real thought and intention. And if you would like, you can pause the video now and try to put this into practice by thinking of a thought that you've had recently that felt kind of difficult or overwhelming, and find something else that is true to live alongside of that thought. Something that grounds you in a feeling of support, strength, gratitude, or sense of purpose. I want to cover one last practice in this video that can help us with sense of coherence. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of intention and focus on our core values. Our values can be very grounding when it comes to our sense of coherence, because they not only help us realize what gives our life meaning, but they also serve as kind of a compass or a resource to help us know how to act in any given situation. For example, one of my core values is compassion. And when I'm interacting with people on the job, sometimes there's not a quick fix, or there's not a fix at all. And as much as I wish I could take their problems away, a lot of times I can't. And so the best I can do in that situation is live into my value of compassion, which is really be present with the person, help them bear witness to their struggles, and help them navigate what to do with that compassionate approach. So this last skill set I want to show you is more of a personal reflection, and something that you can either pause right now during the video to think about, or maybe save this as an exercise to do later. Some of you might have done a values reflection in the past, and it's just time to revisit it. Or this might be your first time to really give this some serious thought. Either way, there are a couple of reflections that can help you kind of revisit and reconnect to your core one or two values. And I have some examples of core values up here on this slide. These come from Dr. Brene Brown in her book, Dare to Lead. It is not an all-encompassing list, of course. There are so many more core values that you could have beyond what is present on this slide. But the point of it being just to kind of jog your thinking process and reflection process for identifying one or possibly two core values that you feel like this is you at your best. This is, something that you use as a compass to guide you in everyday situations. So to quickly recap, just remember to keep those core one or two values central to your day-to-day so that you can use them to make decisions or help you interact with other people. And then another thing that was really grounding that we used as a sense of coherence practice is to ask yourself, what else is true? And this is helpful to do when you notice yourself kind of spiraling in a particular thought or emotion, or feeling really stuck. Ask yourself, what else is true? These videos are made possible by the partnership between Workwell Kansas, Turning Point, and the Masonic Cancer Alliance. Please see the following slides for more information about these organizations.